going to be a little different. Today's going to be a little different. Intentionally. Because when you piece something together of how it's happening, when it's happening, what is happening, well, we all tend to deviate accordingly. We respond based on everything that we've learned, everything that we've encountered, everything that we've seen, everything that we've heard, everything. Which means that we're not going to allow something to happen again if bad presents, because now we've pieced together how to solve whatever bad is occurring. Yet, that all sounds good. If that would be the case, that means that the moment we understand something, we would immediately never fall victim to bad or problems again. That means that if any good presents, even one good thing, and we know how to avoid all the bad because we understand the source of where it originates, all those things, well, if that would be the case, do you understand that we would never suffer? We would never feel misery. We would never feel sorrow, because we wouldn't experience those things again. Every single person I've met throughout my entire life journey has, at some point when they were interacting with me, presented the question, not in these exact words, but I challenge all of you to investigate this for yourself. We all sit there asking ourselves, why must this be like this? Why must I suffer? God, why is it like this? And if you've done a variation of that, perhaps not with those words, then you are playing directly into their hands. Because that means that you don't understand. It means that something presented to you to make you then ask that question. We don't just ask questions unless we're exploring. If we actually are suffering, if we actually are under attack, if we actually are experiencing problems in that moment, until we understand how everything functions, none of us can ask questions when we are actually experiencing bad in the moment. It's a skill set that one can develop that I highly recommend each and every single one of you start learning how to develop. And you will do so if you start understanding everything I'm talking about today. Yet what you're going to realize is that none of you can ask questions anymore or explore when bad begins getting presented to all of you. It's impossible. So that tells you that if you ask yourself that question at any point, why is this happening to me? Why does my life have to be like this? What did I do to deserve this? It means that you aren't only experiencing attacks and problems. Because if you were, until you break free and understand every piece of the puzzle, think about it, it's a maze that has 100 steps. Until you understand all 100 steps, you are not able to ask or understand how anything can actually, how any bad can happen or how you can improve your situation. It's impossible. It's not possible. So what does that mean? Well, doesn't that mean that I need to create that feeling within you to make you feel that way? Don't I need to remind you of something, reinforce and boost it up, so that then I can present to you your reality? Here you go. I'm gonna take a bite of my bread right now, and I'm gonna put some food on it. But you know what, guys? This is actually for you. Here you go. This is your reality now. Wait a minute. Just... Wait... What? 10 minutes ago, something put into my head. A really good reminder of how it was 2 years ago. I was smiling, I was laughing, I had hope of possibility. Well, I lost that. That's right, I did lose that. I came to accept it. I came to create my own situations that can make me happy. I know how to find my own positives. I remember them from my past, and they bring me joy, and they make me smile temporarily, and they make me forget. That's cool. I can operate now in my reality just fine. Oh wait, then something reminded me. Well, think about how good you are. Think about how capable you are. Think about what you can achieve. Remember what you achieved 2 years ago with all those problems happening. There was so much good, but you achieved so much 2 years ago. I'm so proud of you. Now imagine what you could achieve if there was no bad present whatsoever. Remember last time, 2 years ago? There was all these random problems. You started already the first step on the wrong step. Doesn't mean that you didn't turn things around, but you were losing from the beginning. But then you turned it around and you were thriving. Imagine if this time you're only starting from the top, like you're only thriving and you keep thriving. It's a lot easier to win if you're ready to win. You have to get 100 if you start at 80 than if you start at 0. Because think about how many mistakes you can make when you're already at 80. You can fail 10 times and you can still keep going. At 0, there's no leeway. You're right. So that means I can achieve. I could do again. I could try again. I could create another story. I could make a future that's different than what my current reality is. I could make my life better. I could change all my circumstances. I could achieve things that no one else can achieve because I see possibilities now in my head. Like my mental world got created for me by something. I don't know what. And it reminded me I'm so good. I'm so talented. I'm so capable. I can achieve anything. Wow, maybe I should try. Maybe I should do. What could I accomplish? I could achieve my dreams. I could explore again. I can create a future that no one has seen before. Think about how much positive change I can cause everywhere I go. I'm the one that can do this. No one else can because I see things that other people don't. I am more capable, not because they are not good, but they just don't see it yet. I'm gonna help them realize their worth, their value. They're gonna all remember. They're gonna smile. They're gonna laugh for the first time. They're gonna achieve things they never thought that they could achieve. And it's gonna be because of me. But it's not all because of me. I'm gonna enable them. I'm gonna make my underlings, my friends, my family, my girl, my pets, they're gonna all believe. They're all gonna be as amazing as they always could be. All of a sudden, we start walking. And walking, and walking. And suddenly, the same negative that we learned already, it's one of the steps of the maze, presented. This negative, we have completely neutralized. We have invalidated. Because in the past, we learned that we need to embrace the destroy evil shield, where if something like this presents, we embrace a little darkness. We make them realize they can't get away with this. That we're not gonna cause revenge. We're not gonna harm them. We're not gonna destroy them. But they're going to see and feel the difference, because that's the key. Anything that we're trying to fight back against that's trying to ruin what we are trying to accomplish or who we are, we have to fight back. But not by destroying, not by hurting them, but by destroying the root, which is, oh, they think that they can do this to make us do something? You know what? Then you lose access to my skill set permanently. You will never have my healer version again. I will never heal. I will never help. I will never teach. I will never guide. The next time someone asks for help for any of those things, I will laugh at them and ask them, why can't you figure this out? Wait a minute. And then after that, you break it. You go, all right, I'm not going to do it anymore. You guys see, like, you can just flip it in 1 second. But you're not harming anyone. You're now letting them be. All the things that we're being made to care about, you just let them be. You're like, huh? C'est la vie. I hope all of you lose now. You guys had access to me and my skill set. I hope all of you never heal. I hope all of you suffer for the rest of your life. I hope all of you can never achieve all the things that you wanted to achieve. I could have helped you achieve all of those things, but because there's something in this world that wanted to stop me and make it a game and make it a battle, back and forth, I'm not going to play that. So this is it. That's it. It's over. So you see, like, now then you can even talk about it without any confusions or problems, because you see, like, you embrace the darkness, you destroy something, you make them realize, I will not tolerate this, without actually causing revenge. And then it's over. You win. So now, you guys see you've invalidated it, you've destroyed it, without actually causing harm that furthers storylines to cause new problems that can serve as reminders to cause us new problems. So now you can create distance. Now you can avoid. Now you can prevent. Now you know, oh, I'm not going to go back to these areas. I'm not going to do these things. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And when you're operating like that, you see, like, you guys, you can't get destroyed anymore because you now know the areas that you had to destroy evil in. You either healed something by doing so, or you just now permanently never go back there and you never care anymore to accomplish something related to that storyline. For any of you, just think of it as, hey, I care right now to heal bread. I'm like, well, I don't care anymore. I can just eat the bread. Doesn't matter. Once you get to that point, there's nothing they can do anymore, because then you're like, but you know what? I know that I enjoy bread when I eat my queso con salsa, my salsa. So you see, you start adding positives. Self-sourced, that you can bring back whenever of your choosing. And when that happens, you're protected, you're thriving, you're happy, because you're like, oh my God, my reality is actually really so freaking bad. My reality is awful. My reality is terrible. Everything's horrible. Everything's failed. I've lost all this stuff, right? But then you're like, hey, when I eat my bread with the salsa and I listen to some music and some other thing, like you start identifying all your positives, well then you feel fine. Actually, in a weird way, despite your reality not changing, despite any of your circumstances not improving, even though now you don't care anymore to accomplish these stories that they're trying to force you to. So you're like, I'm good. I can do anything now. I'm not going to try to accomplish more, because I know that that's when all the bad happened. But I'm going to survive for the first time ever in an extended period of time. I feel and believe that I can survive. I can just operate. I can just do. At no point are we saying that I'm achieving the best things possible. You see, like, it doesn't matter to me because the only one who's grading is myself. So I'm like, do I need to get 100 out of 100? I got 97 today. That's amazing. Once we get to that point, by avoiding the bads, by preventing them, by destroying the evil, either they corrupted something, we destroy it once, or when something is trying to treat us in a way that we don't tolerate anymore because we're healed and we understand our worth, and we destroyed that, we make them lose access to our skill set, well then there's no more stories, then we're fine. You guys get it? Then you can now survive and operate and live and thrive perpetually forever. There is nothing they can do. Nothing. If you join me in operating this way, there is not one thing this world can do to make us write another story unless they change reality. If they don't change reality, we will never operate again. Can any of you join me in operating that way? Can you? Do you understand if every single person refused to operate with money existing in the outside world, the only solution would be to destroy money? You all tolerate the reality, thus they never have to change it. Alright, so now we've destroyed more darkness. So now we can calm down and we're like, alright, so what's next? Well, now I'm telling you guys, you don't have to do that anymore. What you're gonna realize is what I just did is what you all need to do once. But you see, I did that. Did I stab someone right now? Did I kill the Pope? Do you guys get it? I didn't do any of those things. And yet all of you get baited to do those things. Because then that causes the next event, the next event, the next event. It's not necessary to feel like you reclaim control of the narrative. Once you reach this state, then you are safe. You're fine. There's nothing they can do anymore. But that's when everything changes. Because no one was supposed to figure this out. We are built from day one to be able to heal, to be able to feel better. We have to do an action to cause a response, and that response is what allows us to heal again. Which means they created a chain reaction, vampiric cycle, domino effect, boom, 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 that if you harm me, then I will harm you in any way to feel better. And when I'm doing that, now I make you create a situation where you need to harm something else to feel better. Could be myself, right? Could be revenge, but it also could just be moving forward and then harming the next thing because you still have the damage from the previous thing. I call it the blood drain effect, the vampiric cycle. But if right now you damaged me and now I have 60 health out of 100, I need to heal. So to heal, I need to damage something else because that heals me. So I either damage the same thing that damaged me, or I damage something new that I am superior to, or not necessarily superior as in better, but superior as I know things that they don't know. So that means they don't know how to avoid and prevent my vampiric bite. So that means they will always take damage. So then I go, and now I'm at 100, and they are now at 60. Do you guys understand? That is how life operates. Because that means that stories are created without us having to do anything. I don't even have to write a story. I just have to harm one thing. And naturally, because of that, a story will be created. Do you guys get it? So at any point I want to create a story in any region or any industry, I just have to destroy one thing. If I successfully destroy one thing, the story will be written and I can sit back and watch and laugh at all of you. That is how our reality operates. So what I'm trying to get all of you to realize is that if you destroy it by embracing the feeling of being like, I will not tolerate this anymore, you don't actually have to do the next step. You don't actually have to fight back. You don't have to use the sword against them. You don't have to stab them. You don't have to do the vampiric bite. And yet you could have the same benefits of doing so, because once you realize it's not a person, it's not an individual that's the problem, it's how the world is designed, well then you're not mad at the wind, you're not mad at a leaf, you're not mad at the rain, you're mad at what creates this world. And once you reach that state, there is nothing they can do, is what I thought. Because I realized, well then, now that you've destroyed they wanted you to take a vampiric bite of something else. You've destroyed that. And now you're safe. Now you're protected. Now, actually, you also prevent, because think about it, guys, even if you don't take the bite to harm something, it can still make you want to recover that missing health that you have by doing something good that boosts you back up. So what can that do? Well, when I'm missing health, I heal as well, because, well, it heals me, but it also, by helping other people, even though I'm feeling that, like, that loss, that despair, that suffering feeling, when I heal other people, I feel better temporarily. So you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. And I know what I'm capable of. And that's what we're gonna get to. So what I'm trying to get you guys to realize is, so now you just surround yourself with your positives. You self-identify them. You understand what they are. And since now you're not seeking revenge anymore, since now you're not seeking to do bad anymore, you don't care about a storyline. Because we are made to care about specific storylines. This is our role. This is our purpose. This is who I am. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is who I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to operate like this. I'm supposed to do this. And supposed tos are really dangerous. That doesn't mean that some of them are not positive. Hey, I'm supposed to take care of my kid if I have one. You see, like, it's not a bad thing. But if you only are doing it because you're enslaved to it, that's when it gets dangerous. Because that means that you can't question anymore. So what I'm saying is, you destroy the supposed tos because you don't have to do them anymore. But now you bring back the ones that you believe in, that you're already positive. So it's like, hey, I am going to take care of my child. I am going to parent. Well, do you guys see, when you do that, I am going to go on a pilgrimage to defeat sin. Okay. Do you guys see, like, when you choose it, it's different. It changes everything. It's not the exact same circumstance anymore because you're not doing it in response to anything. So you see, the story isn't being written because you responded to something. You are creating your own story. You are creating your own version of everything. You are creating your own reality. So, if, like, for example, I'm someone who can heal people easily. So, like I said, if they damage me and I'm on 60 health, I'm like, oh, I need to heal. Do you guys see, like, then problems can happen. So I thought that was the only risk that I had conceptualized, because I'm like, well, if now we know how to avoid and prevent all the bad, the moment they start appearing, we're like, oh, stay away from that, stay away from this, minimize this, minimize this. Oh, they presented one bad, just interrupt it, deviate, just go bup, 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 bup. Start up our own positive self path that we self-source. There's nothing they can do. It's true. There is nothing they can do. So what I'm trying to get all of you to realize is that if you reach that state, because most of you will never get to that level where you now don't respond to bad anymore at all, because you've destroyed it. That means it can't get you to do anything. Bad can't get you to do anything. And then you don't need good suggestions. You don't need good suggestions. You can just, you know what your positives are. You self-source them, and you can do them whenever. When good presents or when bad presents. It doesn't matter. You can just do. So I'm like, well, there's nothing that can be done. Because we don't tolerate this reality. We are not going to write stories in this reality. We're not going to help people in this reality because we are punishing the things that designed this reality the way it is. They want access to my skill set and my knowledge? Then they need to change how everything functions. I will not help people if they don't change how the world operates. If someone gets any benefit from this, then hallelujah. But I will never interact directly with someone trying to help them. Do you see then? It's over. Do you guys get it? Then you've won. Because, well, now you're just going to be able to do the things that make you feel positive, the things that make you feel better, the things that make you thrive. And if at any point something is trying to make you do something that it makes you interact with something to further a storyline or create an event, you immediately can see it. Do you guys get it? Because since you've destroyed all that and you don't tolerate anymore and you've literally separated all those things, the moment if one thing presents, think of it like, just to do a little quick intro, think of it like you guys have a Skittles jar or an M&M jar, all right? But let's use Skittles. And there's 100 of them in there. And you decide, I only want the purple ones there. So you've only been collecting purple ones in there. You self-sourced 100 of them, or so you thought. Turns out you had 99. So there was room for one more. And all of a sudden, you're about to go to your jar and eat one, or maybe every time you eat one, you have 100. You eat one, and then you replace it again with another purple. So you have 100 in there, and all of a sudden you look at it, and you're like, wait a minute. There's one orange one in there. Why is there one orange one in there? Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Is that if you know how to move away all the bads, all the interactions, all the things that can potentially start storylines, because you don't tolerate it anymore, because you're like, I was doing all those things. I just want people to understand this. I was interacting with people nonstop. I was healing everyone nonstop. I was helping people nonstop to the detriment of myself. Now I do so indirectly, but I'm telling you, I before did indirectly and directly, and I'm telling you guys, it's the bait. So I moved all those away. I'm like, I can flip those switches immediately again. Just so everyone understands is that at any point, if the reality of this world changes tomorrow, I will go back and heal every single person, all my families, all of them. I will help all of them solve all their problems immediately if they allow me to. The reason why I've given up on all of them is because it's not allowed. It's meant to create a never-ending clash, a never-ending climb, a never-ending story. For always to have new problems, new events, new conditioning, new problems to solve and figure out. Money drains, resources problems, drama, new reminders to be created so that more things can happen, more conflict, more problems, so they can write the story that they want. So, you see, when you reach that state where you can actually operate, at any point, if my reality improves or changes again, I will immediately flip the switch and heal people, help people, solve all the problems because I know exactly how to. And even if they can't get there yet because they are still struggling, I will operate at their timeline. I will be slow. I will be cautious. I will be caring. I will be soft. You guys understand? That means that all of you need to get to that where at any point you can just flip the switch and be like, oh, my reality changed again? All right, cool. Now I can help. But you don't do so until they change your reality. You don't tolerate anything anymore. If you can't get to that, then you are their victim. You all need to get to that, because then you've moved all the bad away, all the path starters, all the stories, all the things that could cause you to feel negative, every single thing that can cause problems, that can condition you, that can make you care again, that can develop attachment, all that stuff. If you've removed all of that, and you're not trying to change any external outcome anymore, all you're trying to do is survive and thrive and be positive, and you figured out how to, and now you self-source your own positives, and you're always just doing well. What you first realize is they start attacking your positives directly. There's no seizing, there's nothing, it's straight up attacks to try to ruin that, because if you don't have positives anymore, well, what will you do? Do you guys get it? If you don't have positives anymore, you're gonna seek other things. And when you're seeking other things is the opportunity for them to bring back all the things you moved away so that you start interacting again. Or showcase them overtly suffering and remind you of them and be like, why can't you help them? You have the skill set to do so. Oh wait, that's what we were building up to. Do you guys understand that some people might be terrified right now when I say good? This is advanced knowledge. This is what you all need to get to. If you do the climb, this is your reality, because this is how desperate they are to try to stop you. Because this is the solution. If all of you joined me at this level, we would take control of the world, not them. They would respond to us. They will become our slaves. They want to torture us and make us suffer. We're not going to make them suffer. We're just going to withhold all access to our skill set. Because you guys see that at that point, at any point, you can help and heal and do. You don't forget. Do you guys get it? You don't forget how to be your best version. You don't forget how to be kind. You don't forget how to be caring. You don't forget how to be a healer. You don't forget how to make people believe. You don't forget how to make people be amazing. You can do those things at any point. You don't even need a path to start. You don't need anything to present to make you become that way, because that's who you are. You guys see, you destroyed all the variables that can change you who you are. You just operate based on who you are, regardless of what's presented, because every single one of you is operating based on what is presented. So if right now I present 3 good to you, you're good. If I present 3 bad to you, you're bad. It's that simple. I'm saying, if you understand everything that I've talked so far to this point in this stream, you will be able to start doing that. Is there anything more powerful than that? Because that means that if someone right now, like most of you guys are still operating the most basic human level, where if someone does something bad at you, or like doesn't help you with something, you guys then now feel jaded toward them, bitter toward them, and you might do them dirty. You guys might even know all those phrases. Those are basic human level 1 kindergarten shit. If you're still at that level, dig deeper. I'm tired of pampering all of you. Why can't you all figure this out? I'm saying there's people that they can't even think anymore. They have to do something now. They have to get back at someone. They have to make sure that person doesn't win, or that person suffers a little bit now because of what they did. And I'm saying, if you destroyed control from all the variables, you can literally be there and you can operate exactly the same. Good or bad, you choose. And if you do choose to destroy evil, which I've been doing this entire stream so far, you know why you're doing it and you can turn it off at any point. All right, that's enough. You all need to get to that level of self-control. Because that means that if anything presents, you're like, right now they're trying to make me more dark. Oh, right now they're trying to make me light. Wow, they're presenting good. Oh, they're presenting bad because they're trying to make me angry and they're trying to make me do these things. You all need to get to the point where you understand every single one of your variables and every single thing that's been installed in you. So that you understand exactly what path they're trying to lead you on. Oh, wow, they're trying to make me good right now, so they do these things. They're trying to make me bad right now, so I do these things. Oh, they intentionally caused a fake event right now to happen in front of me, so that now I'm more inclined to heal. Oh, they created this event to make me now despise this person, so that now I either create distance from them, or I intentionally don't help them. You all need to understand that that is how the world operates. But yet, if you understand that, do you guys get it? That means that it can't control you anymore because you now see exactly what they're trying to do. Do you all understand why this is a necessity? Because then, any variable that presents, you are the one toying with them. Not the other way around. Because, after all, guys, it means that they can't force us to do anything anymore. Because at any point we want to, we can. We know our positives. We know our negatives. Which means that we'll avoid our negatives and we'll do our positives whenever we actually want to feel better. Do you guys get it? There's nothing they can do because other people would now not be able to interrupt themselves or just deviate in 1 second. Yet I can. And some people might start throwing out now terms to attack. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're this. I'm saying it's not that. It's that I understand every single variable and I understand why I do every single thing. I'm trying to showcase to you guys how you need to destroy evil and fight back. But also I'm trying to show that I can now help you guys. I'm like, hey, I really just don't understand why you guys don't believe. And then I could start a path to boost you guys up and make you realize, I'm like, hey guys, you do know how to figure things out. You guys just don't understand vision. You guys can't see the vision because you don't understand the variables that they present in front of you intentionally to make you do something. All right. So, now what? Well, now we've learned that. Okay, so if I have destroyed evil, I've cured my positives, I'm not gonna further stories anymore because I'm not gonna tolerate this reality the way it operates. My reality should not be this way. So that means that if you want me to do, you have to change my reality. This is the answer for everything, guys, just so you guys know. You just don't tolerate your reality anymore, which means you demand more, but you see, like, you don't expect anything. Is the answer. I'm not going to do those things that they want me to do. I'm not going to do the stories. I'm not going to interact with people. I'm not going to try to save anything. I'm not going to try to heal anything. I'm not going to try to help anything. Even if there are things that have built up attachment that I'm supposed to care about. Even if they were my stories that they were built up from day one that I was supposed to do. Just so you guys know, one of them for myself is they built up from day one in me that I want a happy, big, extended family. Or just a big family. Think of it like your family's from both sides and your own family. And then the girl's family. And you combine all of them. So then there's like 4 families. Think of it like that, guys. All right? And hopefully then you can also get your girl's other extended family too, and you just start adding all of them, and they see like it's just one big village essentially, and it's all just your family. You guys could even like create a village where you all live. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You guys see, but you can do that, and everyone just feels free, feels safe, feels healed, believes, smiles, kind. You guys get it? Like that was my storyline that they built up, and I'm telling all of you, that was the one they used to destroy me over and 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 over again. So once you understand that, you never need to do those things anymore. People are like, how's that possible? It's the story they built up for you. I'm like, it's completely irrelevant. It's completely unnecessary. And I hope that all the families that I was supposed to help are suffering. I hope they're miserable. I hope they're experiencing sorrow. I hope all the stories that they were planning to write with for them and for myself are ruined, and they're permanently ruined. And every single thing in this timeline, in this earth, in this world is falling apart. I hope it all is crumbling day by day. Every building, another building falls, another skyscraper gets destroyed, another earthquake hits, another volcanic eruption happens, and more misery and problems are happening. People are like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, that is the level you all need to get to. But you see, what am I saying? I'm saying, I hope that's the case. I'm just destroying evil. But at any point, if all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, they're going to now allow me to be able to heal and to help and to teach and to guide, because I can learn anything now. If you don't understand everything I'm saying so far, I can do anything new and learn it within minutes. If I get just one seed to understand the vision, and if I can talk to the designer behind it, I could learn it within seconds. It's not a brag. I'm trying to make you all realize you all need to take what I'm saying seriously. That is the level you can get to. Because once you understand every variable and how they connect, there is nothing they can do. There are zero unknowns. Which means that the moment you see that your reality has changed, then you'll operate. Do you guys get it? The moment your reality has changed, then you can operate. Because most of you can't decide. You don't know when you can or can't do. You don't know if you will. You don't know why you do sometimes. You want to, but you can't. I'm saying, once you see exactly when your reality has changed, then you will do again. You will help, you will heal, you will guide, you will teach, you will all this stuff. You guys see? It means that there's nothing they can do to make you do those things. You decide. You are in control of the story. And if you know what? And if you see that they're trying to force you to do so, you can laugh and literally intentionally destroy the story, even if it was a good one that was building up for you. And there is nothing they can do. They now are at it's your decision. You get to decide everything. But it means that you might never have a story again. Most people aren't prepared for that sacrifice. If you are, though, there's nothing they can do. So I realized all this. This is what I'm trying to get you guys to realize, is that that's the level that I was at. And I'm like, wow, you win. You just win. Because then you never have to embrace darkness again. Maybe once in like 100 years, essentially, when something that's built up sufficiently, enough attacks are present, and then you're just like, Shah! And then it's over. And then now you feel better again. And you haven't caused any new stories. You have only created distance. Nothing is happening. There's no revenge. There's no problems. I'm telling you guys, it's the answer. You win. It's over. Because now, I'm telling you, if all of you have a girl by your side, a kid and a pet, you would never have to interact with anyone in the outside world again, and you'd be able to thrive and be happy and live, because now you know exactly what matters to you and what doesn't. You guys literally could create your own little bubble of like, maybe just like your parents, your girl, your kid, and your pet, and you guys could live happily ever after. And there's nothing they can do. There will never be any problems. There will never be any negatives, because the moment something starts getting presented, gets started created, you know exactly that's them, how they did so, what variables they presented, what they built up, and you can destroy it immediately, and it's over. You guys understand? There is nothing that they can do. Why don't all of you want to get to that? It takes the fun out of it. Why do you guys want intentional problems in your life? Because it makes you do? You only respond to bad? It's the only way you evolve? It's the only way you get better? Why wouldn't you learn how to create your own experiences, your own limits, your own challenges, so you can develop the lessons that you want when you want? Hey, today I want to teach my kid this complicated lesson that would normally only be taught in school at 7th grade, that I'm going to teach him right now when he's 3 years old. I'm going to create a scenario through maybe video games, through some music, and through some other things that I'm going to create around me, like maybe plants and random food items, and we're going to create a situation so he can learn a lesson that other kids would learn when they're 12, and he's going to learn it when he's 3. But wait, he was going to learn it when he was 12 because bad was going to happen to him. You mean he learned it at 3 only through good? And in a safe environment? Do you guys understand why what I'm doing and saying and trying to teach is the answer? Because then you can do that. You are in control of when you learn the lessons, how you learn them. There's no possibility for any negative reminders to be created. They can never use them to then push a new negative to you because there's no more negative events that are created ever. And the moment if one is accidentally almost happening, because sometimes we might miss something, the moment that happens, you can immediately destroy it, you can explain it to everyone, and it gets resolved within minutes. Which means that no one is getting poisoned, no one will ever get reminded of anything, and if they do, you just tell them, hey guys, if you get reminded of that, just know that that's fabrication, don't listen to it whatsoever. Just keep moving forward, just play some songs that you like to listen to, just talk about Final Fantasy X, Meister Micah, and how everything is meaningless and futile. And you're gonna be, oh. This version of me that you guys are seeing today is not filtering anything, is not dumbing it down for all of you. There's a good chance that not one person has made it this far and not one person will ever get this point because they can't. They are vulnerable to getting pampered, to getting their butt lifted over and over again to make them believe. If that's you, then you are exactly who they target. I don't care anymore if anyone learns this. I hope no one does. I hope all of you remain slaves forever. All right, so now, you know what, guys? I'm just gonna do all my positives today after this is done. Just gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna be in a great spot. Nothing bad's gonna happen. Everything's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna be thriving. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy despite not being able to write any stories. Despite having lost everything. How's that possible? You guys see, like, because I can self-source, I can turn on the switch whenever. And I really do hope, guys, that someone can resist everything that presents, because as you guys are listening to this, right, I'm not making you feel as powerful as I normally do. So as you're listening to this, I applaud you and encourage you that you should be super proud of yourself for being able to survive everything I'm throwing at you, because this is how they do it. And I want you guys to learn this, because if you guys can withstand what I'm doing today and how I'm explaining things, that means that you will break free. And then you will finally be able to be healed and be in control of your narrative and never tolerate anything that you disagree with. Again, guys, pay attention. How is it possible I can just go boop, 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 boop? This is when you win the game, because it pisses the things that control our realities off so much, because they want us to do the version that they want. Well, today they want us to be negative or dark. Okay. Today they want us to be positive and light. Okay. You see, if they can present 3, 4, 5 things to do so, and then we always do set things, well, then they're like, today we want him to operate this way. So I'm going to present the 3 positives so that then he reacts the way we want. But what if you don't, guys? What if they do nothing to you anymore? Like, they don't present, like, those things that present have no effect on you. Because I'm telling you guys, the first cure that most of you guys need to understand is you need to destroy the way they expect you to react. If I only present bad to you, knowing that you're going to cause revenge, well then, what if I just heal them today? You guys see, like, that's the first solution. That's a really powerful one. If most of you get to that point, I applaud you, because it's almost impossible for any of you. Because you just can't. You just respond to how it's been built up to you and what's been presented. If you can do that, you destroy every storyline they built up, which is extremely powerful, because that means that people, I think, are afraid of that. Why would you want to destroy stories? Because when you destroy a story, you can now write a new one. Think about it, guys. Like, if I wrote a book for all of you of how you guys should stream, all right? Each one of you has to follow this book on your stream. You guys, all right, okay, guys? You guys are all in a stream in 1 minute. So that means that the entire time you guys are referencing the book. If you destroy that book, and now you're just like, all right, well, I just wait. And then I'm like, wait, here's a new book, and it's empty. That doesn't have any of my information in there for you guys. And now you can just create your own story. If you guys get it, that means that you're in control. Doesn't mean it's going to be better, doesn't mean it's going to be worse, but it's just, for the first time ever, it's your story. it's not theirs. Because otherwise I'm like, remember guys, at 1 hour, you should do this. All right. At the 2 hour mark, this is going to happen. Make sure you do this. Okay. And that's how we are all living our life today. Until we break free. That's level 1. Then level 2 is everything that I've talked about so far. And I thought that was enough, guys. I really did. Because I'm like, well, I can operate, I can survive. I can choose now whenever I want how to heal, how to be good, how to do all these things. I really thought it was sufficient. I'm like, I'm in control. There's nothing they can do anymore. Is what I thought. Because once you understand all your variables, if they present one, you know where it's leading. You guys get it? Like, I'm like, they presented this bad one. It's this time period. They presented this good one. It's this. You guys see, like, it doesn't stop us anymore and doesn't help us anymore unless we choose to. You see, we now get to choose. So I'm like, if I want to continue my pilgrimage to save the world, I can. If I want to defeat sin, I can. If I want to expose that the Pope and religion is just a fake control mechanism used to give people hope, I can. But I don't have to. So what I started piecing together was, I'm like, wait a minute. I've now brought back all the things that make me who I am. I've now brought back all my positives. I'm doing even more things than before. I'm like, how are they succeeding and still making me feel suffering, despair? But really, it's sorrow and misery. I don't get fully consumed permanently to the point where I'm going to do something bad, but I'm like, it still affects me. And I'm like, for someone who knows all this stuff, to be still affected by that, I'm like, how is that possible? How is it possible that they can present things to start causing us to feel sorrow and misery? How do they do that? We all think that it's bad being presented that causes it. We all think that it's bad being presented that causes it. And I'm saying it's not. Sorrow and misery aren't the source. Or bad isn't the source of sorrow and misery. Every single one of us, as we're operating, believes that the moment we feel that, like those negatives, those problems, is because we are experiencing bad. I want everyone to know that is part of it, in the sense that, but it's more so despair. And it's because despair is the feeling of consumption. I call it dark consumed. We're going a dark path. And it's because they presented sufficient of our negatives to make us get that way, right? We get consumed, so then we're just like, But you see, it's not sorrow and misery. We're consumed. It's like this despair takes over us, which makes us respond to do an action. Because that's really what despair is that when we get dark consumed, we then do an action, usually to further stories. So I realized, I'm like, well, if you never let them start the path, if you keep interrupting, if you keep countering it, if you keep avoiding, if you keep preventing, well, then you're safe. Then you're safe. There's nothing they can do. You can't, because you will never get consumed. And it's correct. You'll never get consumed. So then I was like, how is it possible, though, that... Because sadness and all that stuff, guys, I'm like, I realized how to defeat it, because I realized it's just a path. Like, they present 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 of negative reminders to create the sadness and despair, to consume us. Like, if right now, I'm going to use positive, and now I remind you of, like, first said hello to the girl and she brought you coffee, and then you guys went on the croissant date, and then she invited you back to her place and stayed the night, and then you guys had great sex, and she decided to cook you breakfast, and she did a little dance at the cutting board. Well, then you guys see, like, that's a path. Then you're going to be happy. Then you're going to be positive. Then you're going to believe. And I realized that the same thing is the opposite for sadness and despair. Is that if they present the 1 + 2 + 3 + 4, well, then we feel that way. So I came to understand that a long time ago. I realized that, and I defeated that. So the moment those things get presented, you just interrupt them, you deviate them, and there's nothing they can do. So now that I've been able to, as you guys saw with that example in that story, I know how to self-source my positives. When I use that example of the girl, I feel better, I feel happy, I feel optimistic, because I start a path for myself. And I'm saying once you can self-source your positives, because you can self-identify them, you can do so. I thought that was sufficient. Because now that you're not caring about what you're made to care about, so you don't do any stories in response to bad happening, you can self-source your good, so you're always protected, you always believe, and if they successfully manage to present enough negatives in a row, then you have to just interrupt yourself and deviate for a little bit and reset and just almost like chain yourself to the bed and not do anything until you can survive again and operate. And I thought that was enough. I really did. But then I realized that they were finding new ways to, as you guys saw earlier, when I was showing you an example of how you fight back, the destroy evil shield, where you have to like embrace some darkness, like, I will not tolerate you guys presenting these bad things to me while I'm playing my video games. I will not tolerate that. I will never heal anyone again if you do that. When you do that, it's called the destroy evil. When that happens, you temporarily regain control of the narrative, but you see you're not actually causing any problems. And I realized that if you can do that once in a while, you're safe. You protect your shields, the things that matter to you. But then I was like, wait a minute. They're making me feel sorrow and misery again. I'm like, what are they doing? Because I'm like, I know how to interrupt their negative paths. I know how to embrace my positives. So I can, the moment I see positive, I'm like, okay, cool. The only time I ever interrupt my positive is, let's say like I'm doing a progression push, like in a video game, or like right now if I was streaming, if every single second while I'm doing this, I'm trying to give knowledge for myself and for others, if I just kept getting inserted of a beautiful girl in an orange dress over and over again, it could interrupt my focus. Do you guys get it? So that would be a bad time to get a positive. But you see, that just affects execution. What I'm trying to get all of you to realize is that I realized that they had figured it out. Every time I develop something and learn something new, they now try to solve all my counters. And what they've done now is they've created a way to make me, on demand, over and over again, re-embrace destroy evil. Because normally you only have to do it like maybe once a day, if that. So what if I can find a way, because you guys remember what I said, I can flip that switch at any point to destroy evil, to heal and protect the things that matter to me, without causing a revenge event, without creating new darkness seeds that people will use to serve as permanent reminders that will consume them in the future. Hey, remember when you did that bad thing? Hey, remember I'll never do things anymore that can create those. So I realized that was the solution. So I was like, wait, they're getting me to embrace destroy evil consistently, many times, over and over again. I'm like, how are they doing it? Because I was like trying to, like, I analyzed all the variables that could present to me in one day. I'm like, they're actually not presenting a chain reaction of negatives in a row like they used to start paths. I'm like, how are they doing it? I couldn't piece it together because I just couldn't understand. I'm like, I actually feel sorrow and misery. And what are those feelings? It's just, it makes us feel like, why are we suffering? Why does it have to be like this? And I'm telling you guys, asking why is the worst question, because as a path starter, it makes us explore the wrong things. It doesn't help us to understand. So I'm like, how are they doing it? how are they getting me to feel that way? I'm like, what is it that they're doing? Because I don't respond to what they present. If today they tell me you should stream and they present bad knowing that it's going to make me want to heal, I don't do it anymore. They say, hey, you shouldn't stream. You should do this instead. And they do that by presenting good. I'm like, no, that's not a bad idea, but I'm not going to do so. I do so when I choose because I'm in full control because I understand every single variable that presents and the path that it leads to. So I was confused. I'm like, how is it possible that I can't understand this and I spend every second on this? So then I realized what they're actually doing. All of us try to understand and conceptualize why we feel that suffering feeling, that sorrow, that misery. How is it that it's happening? And I'm saying, guys, we all falsely attribute it to negatives. We think that it's because there's negatives around us. We think it's because we got reminded of the negatives. And I'm saying, it's not that. It's the worst thing I could have ever conceptualized and understood. What they do is every single time you start, because if you figure out how to defeat, right, the darkness, the negatives, the path of making you feel despair and consumption, if you can defeat that now, and you don't let it ever happen, and because you now can self-source your positives, their only play left to try to get you, because what happens when we feel sorrow, we feel misery, we feel that suffering, we start asking questions, we start wondering why it can't be this, why it has to be this way. And that, if you're not in full control, because they did a good enough path start, they can make you now do things not of your choosing. I was like, how do they do that? So let's break it down. Number one. Number one is, first, there's two paths here. The first one is you choose to do one of your positives that you self-sourced. I'm going to listen to a song that I believe in. I'm going to play a video game that I enjoy. I'm going to read a book that I like. I'm going to talk to the girl that I want to date. You guys get it? Like, those are self-sourced. You chose. What does you choose mean? It doesn't mean that something was like, hey, when was the last time you listened to this song? You guys see, like, that means that you responded to a variable presenting to you. I'm saying self-sourced. It's just like, you know what? Can I listen to a random video game song from Super Nintendo era from 1991 to 1993? Which one? All right. You guys see, like, then you can even explore for yourself and try to find something. Self-sourced. So if you can get to the point where you can self-source your positives because you know them, you're like, all right, so let's do that. All of a sudden, what you guys are going to realize is that when you start self-sourcing, all of a sudden, you actually get pushed a positive. When that happens, it's actually the weirdest feeling because most of us realize that most of us rarely get any positives presented to us directly into our mental world or through the externals around us. Most of them, if we really think about it, guys, are self-sourced. And the ones that aren't, if we're getting an excessive amount of positives presented to us, you all should be extremely wary of that because it means that they're trying, because they know that you still haven't broken that chain that if I present to you 4 positives in a row now, you always will do. If I want you to date a girl right now, if I just present 4 girls in a row that say, hey, you're really hot and handsome, I would date you, just so you know. Then by the time you get to the 5th girl, you might ask her on a date. You guys get it? It's like that. That's their play to write stories. So if you defeat that, you all of a sudden you realize, you're like, wait a minute, I self-sourced the good. Let's say I wanted to search a song. I search a song or I'm about to, and then all of a sudden after I do that, another song suggestion that you might have forgotten about that is one of your positives because you now know your positives. And you're like, whoa, I got reminded of that one. I haven't thought about that one in so much time. That is awesome. So you guys see, like, now you feel better because your positive presented when it was self-sourced. Then you now go to that one and you get then a reinforcement on top of that. Like something else presents that almost like, think of it like someone walks by and it's like, wow, I haven't listened to that song in quite some time. That's a really good song choice that you chose. Thank you. You're like, oh, wow. I didn't mean to do that, but I'm glad that it helped you. Do you guys see, like, you all of a sudden, you self-source something. They throw a positive that you didn't choose at you. You're like, this is awesome. Whoa. I got to count my blessings. And then a reinforcement event happens that's also positive. And usually the reinforcement event is tied to, or to suggest, either one. But usually what they're tied to is something that makes you remember your capability. Remember your belief in yourself. You're like, oh wow, yeah, you're just like you're like basically the god of DJs. You just are so good at selecting music and finding stuff that remind people of what, like, their positives. Like, you really are the best healer in the world. Thank you so much. You can just figure out and solve anything in minutes. You're so good. Like, whenever we play like any board games or video games together, you're always the one. Like, you're like, whoa, what is happening? You guys get it? Like, when that happens, you start seeing that, and most of us just we temporarily get blinded by light because we can't think clearly anymore because it just seems great. We're like, whoa, this is awesome. I can't believe this is actually happening, all these stuff. And none of us put up our shield to be on guard because we're like, well, why would we? Maybe the first positive that got pushed to us after we self-sourced, we're a little cautious. We're like, I got to look around and make sure that this is not a trap. Like, that's if, you've had enough bad experiences to make you believe that way, or if you learned enough. But when the reinforcement happens and it's good, and you're like, wow, there's no way. We never question again. So what ends up happening then is now a path has begun. Do you guys see? They started a positive path for us without us even realizing it, because I guess the takeaway here is they trick you into presenting the positive path without you realizing that they did it. Because all of a sudden, when we start a positive and then we get another positive, and then we get a reinforcement through, it's not, and because if like all of a sudden I'm listening to Final Fantasy X song right now, if all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is really tight, this is an awesome blitzball player, and then, oh, Riku, she's really hot, especially when she unzips her thing. Like, you guys see, like, all of a sudden, most people might not know what I'm talking about, but I do. It's a reinforcement event. You know that it's related to the same thing. But if all of a sudden I start saying, like, I'm listening to this music, I give you a reinforcement there, but it's about your healing capability, or, hey, wow, you're really smart, or you guys see, it's a little different. It's more so something that makes us believe that we can now achieve, that we can now do. That's really what the key. It's something that now makes us feel like we can now do. Something that makes us feel like we can now do, because before we didn't. And if they would have presented, like if right now I say, hey guys, here's some money, and here's a plane ticket. When was the last time you visited your parents? Do you guys get it? It's like that. But if I did that to all of you, you're like, wait a minute, why do you want me to visit my parents? Do you guys get it? It's obvious there, because the 1 + 2 + 3 is what they're intending is very easy to spot. But if all of a sudden, like, I'm playing a video game and like there's a character that goes back to their village and introduces the girl to his mom, maybe in Baten Kaito's Origins or Xenoblade 2, like, hey, here's Pyra, and she's like, oh wow, mister, you brought home quite a looker. And then all of a sudden, after that, someone walks by and says, oh, by the way, Merry Christmas. And you're like, what? Open that envelope. And you open it and you see a plane ticket, or like a voucher to buy any plane ticket. You guys see that? It's like, hey, by the way, you always were so good at uniting families. Thank you. You really are the best healer. Now it's a little more spread out. Do you guys see? It's not so obvious what they're trying to create. It's still a little bit more obvious, but I'm trying to make it obvious for people right now explaining this, because this is how they do it. And we don't see that what they're actually trying to intend, what storyline they're trying to make us believe we can do again, because that's what it is. All of a sudden, now we think, oh wait, I could go back, I can introduce the girl to my parents, I can start healing my parents. I can make them believe. I can make them have hope again. I can start uniting the families. I can do all these things. And all of a sudden, guys, what you're going to realize is that you start doing other things. Like maybe you start chopping vegetables, you start listening to music, you start playing your games. And while you're doing that, it's something that has a focus, but it's not something that has complexity and difficulty. When that happens, all of a sudden, our mental world starts building. Because what they do is they create, think of it, I call it like an illusion world that gets created for us. And it's basically the ideal world that we could see happening. So I'm like, all of a sudden I can see like my parents playing with my kid, and the dogs are running up and down the stairs, and the squeaky toys are just going, and there's classical music playing in the background, and you guys see like we're in a different world that hasn't even happened, and the reality doesn't exist, and this mental world is getting built up. And let's say I'm just playing a video game that's pretty easy that I don't really have to focus on. While I'm doing that, I'm telling you guys, just more and more mental things are getting populated while you're doing your positive, right? And I'm just playing my game, and a mental world is being created. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I really feel like doing, but I'm like, like I now know, I'm like, I need to interrupt that because I'm like, whoa. But I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Like, I really feel like I can do right now. I really feel like I can do right now. This is, and most of us, when we get to that point, because we didn't see that it was a 1 + 2 + 3, because they snuck it in. If it's obvious, like if I tell you, hey, I want you to do this, here's this, you're good at it, go. Almost 99% of us will always resist and not do because we're like, wait a minute. But if they do it directly, it's easy, but they don't anymore once you break free. Because then you will question. You're like, why are you trying to get me to do this? But they have to sneak it in there. So all of a sudden, what I'm telling you guys is now we temporarily feel like we can believe because we didn't interrupt the positive path. That's really what it is. Because why would you interrupt a positive when we barely get any? You're like, they reminded me of a girl right now. Yes. And they reminded me that I'm good at talking to girls. Yes. That's cool. And you just keep playing. And then all of a sudden, like, you're playing, I play games like that have what I call raid encounters, like difficult battles to overcome, puzzles to solve. And then right after that, the girl presents right before I do the encounter. And then I do the encounter, and it's super challenging. And I have a lot of fun. But during that, every so often, like, I'm like, see? We're so good at all this stuff. I'm like, we're just on a path of belief. We think everything's possible right now. Like, all this good is happening. Then what happens after? Because it doesn't happen immediately. All of a sudden, we keep walking a little bit. Maybe we start exploring more. Maybe you're like, well, maybe we could do. Maybe we could try. Or, you know what? Nah, I still don't think it's possible. I really don't. That really, though, I am really good. I am. But, yeah, it's not possible. And when that happens, all of a sudden, shortly after, guys, either you give up by choice or you don't. If you don't, it's very dangerous. But then all of a sudden, what you guys are going to realize is because you see, we got enslaved through the positive, because then they present out of nowhere something that I called it months ago, the Mist Dragon event from Final Fantasy IV. Think of it as there was a dark knight and his dragoon, like this knight that uses a spear to help him, and they were sent on a mission by the king to destroy a village of heretics. They were called summoners. They can use magic that they couldn't explain, right? Because we destroy the things we can't understand. And they went through this cave, and they defeated what I call a mist dragon. A mist dragon. And when they did so, they got access now to the village. They didn't know what they were actually delivering to the village, just so you guys know. The king just told them to do so, to kind of like check in on the heretics. But when they got there, it had a firebomb, and it destroyed the village, and it murdered all the summoners except one girl, a little girl, a daughter. Her name was Rydia. And I call that the Mist Dragon event, because what happened then, the Dark Knight and his guardian, the Lance Knight, witnessed that all the parents were killed because they see the little girl crying that as her parents are murdered. And she hates them now. But you guys see, like, it's when that moment happens that the Dark Knight now gives up, now breaks free, because all of a sudden, what I call the Mist Dragon event is it's an event that occurs that snaps us back into reality of what our reality actually is. Because the king boosted up the Dark Knight, told him, hey, you'll get a promotion. You'll be like the commander of the armies. Maybe his girl spoke to him. He's like, hey, I'm pregnant. We're going to have a kid. My name is Rosa. Let's do this. And he's like, yes, but I just have to accomplish this mission. The king is going to boost me up. I'm going to have more money. It's going to be great. You see, like, he's completely in a different world. And then the Mist Dragon event happens. Boom! Firebomb, Summoners Destroy. Now he's like, wait a minute. I just murdered thousands of villagers. I'm not a good person. I lost my Lance Guardian friend. I can't even return to see my girl. It's when that happens. Do you guys see? They have to create an event. I call it the Mist Dragon event because I use a positive game to remind myself. But that's what it is. They enslaved us through a positive without us realizing that they built up a path of possibility that we can now do. They created all these positive reminders. And then they present something. It doesn't matter what. I call it the Mist Dragon event because I want to use an extreme example to make people realize how it's done. But it could even be just something as someone tells you, hey, have you looked around recently? Like, do you see like all these bad things around you? It could be even just in the outside world when we go on a walk. Like, do you guys know how sad it is that people just don't pick up trash, and then all of a sudden you were like on this path of belief, like, I'm gonna get a girl, I'm gonna do this, everything's going good, and someone says that to you, and all of a sudden it's like your mental world that got built up gets destroyed. Bring! And when that happens, you look around, and now like you're back in reality, because most of us are operating in a mental world. Is what I'm trying to get you all to realize. If you destroy the mental world they create for you, you're protected. But they intentionally choose to destroy the positive mental world they create for us at their timing, and that is how they create sorrow and misery. I couldn't piece it together until today, and now it finally makes sense. I'm like, holy shit. They create enough positives over and over again. They actually are the evil things are presenting positives to us through unsuspecting methods while we're doing other things, so that we are now in a mental world of our own choosing, because that's how we should operate. Do you guys get it? If you self-source your own positives, you can withstand any storm. You'll never get consumed to darkness because you now know just how to be happy temporarily. That's all it is. You just create always your short-term, temporary, illusionary world, your own odyssey. You're protected. But I'm saying they create it for us, not realizing it, but they add it on to some while we're doing already another one of our positives. So then we have so much positive, we are like, wow, we can actually do. And even if, because the most dangerous thing is actually doing at this point. But if you don't do and you even just feel like you can do, I'm telling all of you, what ends up happening is, if you actually do, they create then the Mist Dragon event, which prevents it. Because that's you're destroyed. Then you're destroyed. Then you're destroyed because you now thought you could do, and then boom, you're the reason it failed. That one I figured out, but I couldn't figure out the other one. I'm like, how are they getting me to feel sorrow and misery? Because when I feel sorrow and misery, I realize to defeat that, you have to destroy evil. Ugh! I will not tolerate that you guys do this anymore. The world shouldn't operate this way, right? So I was like, how are they getting me to always get to that? And it's because they were presenting a few, I get so few positives because I'm attacked so much mentally that when I do, I don't question anymore if I'm doing something else. Because I'm like, it's a positive. I don't let it start a path, but I just acknowledge it. Do you guys get it? I don't protect myself from a positive. Because why would we protect ourselves from positives? It makes no sense. Most of us are just trying to defeat the despair, to defeat the sadness. We're so afraid of feeling sorrow and misery. We don't ever want to reach the state of where we're like, why does this have to be like this? Like, that's the feeling we all try to avoid. And I'm saying we all get to that over and over again. We don't understand how it happened because we think that it's the bad. And I'm like, it's not the bad. It's because they have to first create the clash. They present the positive reminders to start us on a path that is unrelated to what we're currently doing that's already positive. They build up the mental world, and then they just present anything. You guys, it doesn't even matter the severity of it. Because if we believe we can do, then they add severity. If we are doing, then they add severity. If we are doing, they add severity. If we are doing, they add severity. This is the key. But if we believe we can do, so we temporarily feel better, all they have to do is present anything that temporarily breaks the hold of the illusionary world, mental world of positive that got built up for us. Because then it immediately brings us back to reality. It's like, think of it like I splash water in your face. You're like, whoa! I was talking to that girl. It's when that moment happens that all of a sudden we now, without our choosing, feel that clash, because we got reminded of what we had. We got reminded of our positives. We got reminded of our capability of what we can achieve, that we have achieved, and that we can now, for a fact, do so again. And then all of a sudden it's like, so now I'm like, I can save the world from sin. I can bring down the corrupt people, the church that enables sin by intentionally building them up with hope every 10 years through sports games, through entertainment, to make them think that they can do. And then we're going to destroy their villages over and over. You see, like, that's how it is, right? They create these things to do that, but those are the ones we can see. And so now I believe that I can bring those down. I now believe that I can defeat sin itself, darkness itself. And all of a sudden I tap you on your shoulder and be like, hey, look around, fool. No one consumes your stuff. Everyone hates you. No one believes you. Everyone thinks you're crazy. You only cause problems. Everywhere you go, everything has gone worse. But you see, any one of those things would just be enough, like, to be like, oh. So now, to reinforce that, we might immediately go, ugh, and then we try to, like, do another one of our positives immediately in response. Then, what they do is, because now we feel the sorrow and the misery. Do you guys get it? Now we feel sorrow and misery. Sorrow and misery has to be created through the positives. Because I always viewed it as just destruction. Destruction is when we actually do. But sorrow and misery is when we think we can, even if we never will intend to. Sorrow and misery is when we think we can, even if we don't intend to. Just believing at the possibility in our illusionary mental world that we created for ourselves. And I'm saying that I mastered that skill set because that's what makes us just be able to survive. So I'm always creating my own version of that. Do you guys get it? I always create a world for myself where I think I can do, but I'll never do. And I thought that was enough, but it's not, because I realized then that they caught on, because they by the way, guys, just so you all know, I would say about 4, 5, 6 months ago, they had no solution to this. They could figure out how to defeat that yet, just so people are aware. They couldn't. I was protected. I was completely invulnerable. It was like I had divine intervention, a bubble around me. There was nothing they could do. Nothing. I'm telling you guys, there was nothing the things that you guys call the evil in this world, whatever you guys think it is, could do. There's nothing. That means they changed how everything is designed and operates. That's also another angle that they use to frustrate me, because I'm like, wait, you guys are changing things for worse. You guys are making things worse. You guys are finding new ways to stop my positives, to stop my tactics that I use to fight back against the evil in this world. So I'm not even asking for anything. I'm not even trying to do anything. I'm just trying to survive day by day and be content. So it means they're creating new things to intentionally find ways to try to destroy me again and feel sorrow and misery. That means that there's something in this world that's learning constantly, everything I'm doing, to find new ways to counteract my methods to remaining positive, light, and just help every so often with my healing knowledge. So even that alone right there is a thing that creates sorrow and misery. Because I'm like, wait a minute. That means you guys could change things. Wait a minute. That means you guys could implement everything that I'm saying. The things that you guys call God, which today we're going to call sin, not only is present with us learning, but they're learning to intentionally stop what makes us be better. And the things that could actually make this world better that I'm suggesting that I know work because I see that they've worked on me. Do you understand? I've defeated what they do. And I see that no matter what, it makes me so much better. Healer, kind, caring, everything, without getting consumed by those things. So I'm like, I know my methods work. So it means that if everyone could learn my methods, then the world would be a better place. So just help me teach people my methods. Yet instead of doing that, they spend every second trying to figure out new ways to counteract my methods. You guys see how that can create sorrow and misery, because all of a sudden I now know what I'm capable of, not because anyone else tells me, but because I know how I feel. I know the things that I do and how I do them and when I do them and what I can do and all my tactics that let me feel invincible, that let me feel unstoppable, that let me thrive despite only bad being presented or bad occurring or all this stuff. Which means that I know it works, not repeatable, not because someone else is telling me, but because I'm proving it to myself every single day. Because what I want you guys to realize is that it's not an experiment anymore if it's guaranteed. It's self-sourced. I'm reaching that state of ultimate protection, of ultimate thriving, of ultimate capability without anything being presented to me. I don't need inspiration. I don't need help from others. I don't need a guide from others. I can achieve that by myself. Even if bad presents. So I'm like, I figured it out. So if they present that, well, I'm doing another positive of mine. It doesn't matter what it is. And then they reinforce it, like, wow, you're so good at figuring things out. You can learn anything so quickly. And let's say I'm just listening to music. It's going to make me feel like teaching, guiding, and healing, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to. But then all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, I'm so good. Then they present, hey, do you remember how we destroy all of your tactics? Do you remember how we always are spending every second just trying to prevent you instead of actually just helping this world and making it better? Hey, do you remember money exists? Hey, do you remember that AI is enslaving everyone? Hey, do you remember that, oh, these bad things are happening? Hey, do you remember that this? Hey, do you remember the people around you? Hey, you see, like, all of a sudden those things present. And then you're like, well, if I really was so capable, then why are those things not getting better? Oh, wait, they're being prevented. So when that happens, now the clash got created without my choosing. Because see, I'm not even doing anything. Because But you all think it's when you do. I'm saying it's not when you do. That's destruction. I figured out that one. Destruction is when you do. That's how they destroy us, when we actually try. I'm saying that's when you not try. It's just when you think, like you're in that mental world that you think you can, and all of us get to that. It's the easiest thing that they can do. And then, when that happens, you have to fight back, was what I learned. But that's not the answer anymore, because that means that they intentionally, when the moment we start doing positives, they're intentionally presenting positives, because in 2 steps from now, 2 turns, think of it like 2 turns, guys, like any board game you're playing or like a video game that has a turn-based combat, 2 turns from now, we're going to present the negative that brings you back to reality. You're like, ah. So then the moment the positive starts presenting, you're like, it's okay. It's, nope. You might even just see it and be like, you already feel yourself smiling a little bit. You're like, nope. Because you know that they're trying to create a path of belief for you. They're trying to create a positive for you, because you're not going to interrupt it. You're not going to be like, oh, that's horrible. Do you guys see? Because what would that do? Like, you don't want to like counter your positive. That's not the answer either. Because, well, then it's not, you're going to start attacking your positives. Do you guys get it? It's not that. But it's just, you have to not let a positive affect you at all. And do you guys see that that's an insane level to get to, because all of us get so few positive and struggle so much to even be positive whatsoever that we are reliant on all of them. And I'm saying now, if they present, I'm like, anything that is not self-sourced, anything is ultimate danger. Anything. Anything that is not self-sourced is ultimate danger. It's how they've been doing it. And do you guys get it? That could even mean that if I'm playing a video game that has other people in it, if there's just a girl character runs by, that's not self-sourced. And that's a positive. Because now they can use that seed. Because normally what I've been teaching people all these months is that you use that small seed. You're like, I got a small seed. And you use that to create a path for yourself to just be protected, shielded. But they couldn't counter that. So what they did now is they then start adding more positives intentionally. And we don't counter them or stop them, because why would we? Because they help us. They actually are building us up. They're building up our shield. Did you guys understand? That's really what this is. Now I figured it out. They can't destroy our shield anymore. They can't destroy our shields anymore. That's what is happening. They can't destroy our shields anymore. So what they do next is they create sorrow and misery. Because when we feel sorrow and misery, we have 2 choices. Or 3. One, we explore it and we're like, why is that? Which is the worst one. That one we should never do. But that is just horrible. That just causes problems. That will just lead to dark consumption. It bypasses the shield completely. Because sorrow and misery, the thing that sorrow and misery gets placed behind the shield. Our shield is here, and the moment if they start all the positives, right, they create our shield, but then they remind us of our actual reality, our shield just lets in sorrow and misery, and it's right there, and it infiltrated. So when sorrow and misery is there, our shield isn't protecting us from the feeling. You guys get it? Because the shield protects from outside attacks like this, but if we're right here, they get behind us. That's how they've been getting behind our shield. Because they can't destroy our shields anymore. We are too good now. And interrupting any of the negatives and healing our old shields. So they were done for. It was over. That means it was game over. Do you guys get it? If you have a shield that blocks all the damage no matter what and can't break anymore, because every single time it takes some damage and cracks a little bit, you just add a little bit more. Any positives, you get reinforcements. So I was like, why would they be sending, like, see, I stopped doubting the positives, guys, because I'm like, you're reinforcing my shield. Even, because, like, I guess to make it, if there's something that's actually trying to harm us, guys, why would they reinforce their shield was my logic. Because if I'm shielded, they can't get through. They can't get me to do things. They can't get me to respond with bad. So I was like, how are they doing it? I'm like, what is it that they're doing? Because they're making me use Destroy Evil. And Destroy Evil usually means that we're under attack and our shield is like at the point where it's going to break. So we have to do something to like either prevent something from getting corrupted. We have to like destroy it, or we're a little vulnerable and we're just fighting back a little bit without causing a revenge play that makes new stories. So I'm like, what is it that they're doing? And it's because when they create that clash, they infiltrate sorrow and misery there. Because all of a sudden, our shield, I guess what the shield becomes is, it becomes our temporary illusionary world that we self-create for ourselves, that we're not using it to operate a lie, we're using it to believe in ourselves so that we can just do whatever we're doing without getting consumed. Because if we use it as a reliance to just write future stories, do you guys understand it's dangerous? It's there as a protection mechanic, but it shouldn't be what allows us to complete encounters and storylines. Because that means that at any point we don't have our shield, then we're vulnerable. So I learned all that. So I didn't even use my shield as reliances. I was like, I don't even use my shield as reliances anymore. How is it that they're doing this? How are they making me feel the sorrow and misery again that makes me tempted to try to destroy evil? I'm like, what is it that they're doing? And it's because they're reinforcing our shield. So they're making our shield and our illusionary world even more and more and more and more and more. And then this is your actual reality. And I'm telling you guys, an interrupt can cause that, but it's not enough. Because if all of a sudden I'm like, hey, this is your actual reality, and that could just be, like I said, I splash water at you. It'll temporarily like wake you up from that illusionary world that you created for yourself of just positives. But it's not sufficient, because then you're like, it's like, think of like you drop your shield, you got disarmed. Did someone disarm me? I'm like, yeah, Vizier. And then you pick it back up and you put it on. It's a little weaker, but you still have your shield. That's the interrupt is not enough to completely reset the path, because the way it works is the interrupt just disarms you, you drop your shield, so then now you're vulnerable to either a new positive or a new negative. So what I realized is that they try to interrupt you, but that's not even the main thing that they're doing. Is they just present something. It doesn't matter what it is. Something that just temporarily teleports you back to, this is what your actual circumstances are. They don't even need to remind you of a negative. They will, though, after that. But what they need to do is they create the Misdragon event. They create the bomb that goes off. But just, it's to create the sorrow and misery. Because once sorrow and misery is present, our shield can't guard against that. So now it's infiltrated. So now it's all we're dealing with, like, Do you guys get it? They need to create sorrow and misery through positive reminders. And then all they have to do, if they build it up enough, is that then they find a way to remind us of that it's not that through anything. And then they can now then reinforce with negatives. but they don't even need to start consume you on a dark path, because that's what I always was like, you guys aren't going to consume me on a dark path. You're not. Because I can destroy it right away, right? Because you recognize all your negatives. So then if they presented all your negatives, you're like, But when we feel that sorrow and misery, I'm telling you guys, it changes everything. They use the most unsuspecting things around you. Think of it like they give you some knowledge. Let's say I give you guys some knowledge. And I say, guys, hey, every time the wind blows, just so you guys know, if the intensity increases, that's not an accident. They can control that. So let's say you didn't know that. And now you know that. And that scares you, let's just say, or that reminds you of that you live in a world that you actually don't control almost anything, and you can't really do anything to affect your circumstances, right? Because that's what they really want. Hopeless desire. They want you to feel like you can't do anything. So what if I taught you those things, and now I can just keep presenting them to you to remind you, I'm like, hey, bad's happening right now. Bad's happening right now. Bad's happening right now. Bad's happening right now. So it doesn't matter what your illusionary world is. It doesn't matter what your own world that you created is. I now can just present to you things that whenever they happen, even if, because I'm like, wait, they don't really have any negatives on them. They're not. It's just, they were reminders of knowledge, reminders of how the world actually operates. So you guys see, it doesn't even have to be a negative attack. It has to be something that reminds us of what our reality is, that is not, that clashes with what we believe can now be temporarily felt that way. Like if they made me feel like I can stream and all of a sudden I try and just there's no internet connection. Think of it like that, guys. But something like, yeah, you just don't have an internet connection anymore. And they just keep reminding you of that. No internet connection. Well, what's going to end up happening, guys, is that you can start feeling sorrow and misery. Because to create sorrow and misery, you have to have the positive first. Hey, remember the last time you did the stream and you were so good and this happened and you listened to the music and that, and then, but you guys see, like, I always thought it was the thing. I always thought, and this is how it was until I'm telling you, just very recently, weeks ago, tops. This has been a very recent play. This is how fast I figure things out, guys. The things that they spend months developing, I solve in days. I'm like, whoa, they're using, because if they present an overt negative, guys, just so you understand, that's a reminder of the past, I just laugh at it now because it doesn't mean it's fun. But I'm like, there's nothing they can do. But now I realize that they were presenting things that could clash with my shield reality. Just something that temporarily brings me back into the terrible reality that this world actually is. And then usually what I'm trying to get you to realize is that they were sending positives related to the things that we've lost as well. Do you guys get it? Like, they weren't sending negatives. Because now that I want you guys to think about this. When we've overcome loss and suffering from our past, we do so by creating distance from something. So then when we finally bring something back, we can re-explore it again, guys. When we re-explore something again now, so like, hey, maybe what happened in first grade, guys, and there was bad that happened there, but now enough distance, and it was just like a sad event that happened, and there was enough distance, and now you can re-explore it again, and now you can heal it because you now know how to destroy evil, and now that you've healed it, you can re-explore it. So what I realized, guys, is when they create that, so let's say now you've healed it, so now if you get a reminder of like that time period, you don't view it as a negative anymore, because before it was a negative. Do you guys get it? Because you knew that it was something that could start you on a path towards getting dark consumed, to be darkness, because they remind you of the loss. But since now that's not a problem anymore, what they're doing is, when you start your positives, they send some other positives, like let's say like a girl, and then they start sending little reminders and reinforcements of what you're capable of. Hey, you were a really good dad. Hey, you're a really good pet owner. Hey, you were really good at making music. Hey, you were really good at this. Hey, you're really good at that. So you guys see, like, they're positives related to some of the things that we maybe lost from our past, but we don't mind them anymore because we're like, that's a really good reminder related to that. That's cool. You see, there's no path that's starting to relate it to it, because we know not to do that. We know not to explore 1 + 2 + 3 related to a certain time period or a certain thing. So you see, like, they're like presenting one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. It's fucking over for all of you. One here, one here, one here. And then when that happens, all of a sudden, then, I mean, we're actually doing great because you guys get it. All those now are shield reinforcements. And then they're like, look around you. You remember what your reality is? Through anything, guys. Just something that temporarily deviates that. That's all built up. And then all they have to do is put one more reminder, anything like it, just a reinforcement, to just be like, yep, that's how the world operates. So now, you don't get consumed like towards hatred or wanting revenge, but now you feel what I call sorrow and misery. Like, why did this have to happen? Why is it like this? Why are they spending their time designing this world to be this way? What are they doing? Like, they could do anything. The creation entities in this world have so much power. You guys have no idea what they're capable of doing. And I hope none of you ever see it in person, because it's terrifying, all they can do. There's almost nothing we can do to fight back if they really want to. And yet, they don't make things better. So now, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Ugh. You see, like, my version of sorrow and misery is so much more subdued than the rest of you guys. Like, most of you at this point would be like crying in a corner, or else just sit down on your bed like, horrible. I'm saying, I'm completely defeated that. But most of you, that's when you feel that way, because they successfully made you believe that you can do against something, even without you trying. And then they just have to remind you of your reality, and then they reinforce that, yep, this is your reality, and you just know that you can't do, you can't achieve, or you've tried and failed. And then, now that sorrow and misery is present, they let it fester a little bit, and then they will start now reminding of negatives. They just throw little ones, just harmless ones. Think of it like it's like a little bomb chew, or like a little bomb rat that can walk up to you. Beep, 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 beep. And it's like, it's harmless. You just see it and you go, you guys get it? So you see that and you're like, nice attack. I'm telling you guys, you might even feel tempted, because you learn to be quiet, because you're like, there's no if I talk about my misery, if I talk about my sorrow, if I explore that, you guys get it? That's the worst thing you can do, because then you start the path. So then you see there, a little harmless bomb rat shows up, a bomb chew, and you just laugh at them. You're just like, that's really what you guys are trying right now? Nice try. So you think you're protected, but you still, sorrow and misery is still present. You feel different. But at the same time, you see, like, that little rat made you want to feel like, destroying the evil, because you did. You easily destroyed it, but then now you're like, I don't know why you guys have to operate this way. The world shouldn't operate. Now you started talking. Now you're actually exploring a little bit. And they might even send another one. Or then all of a sudden they might present the good again. And like, hey, remember this good thing? Another positive reminder. And you're like, yeah, I can't get that anymore. I can't do that anymore because of all of you. Wait, we have this immense shield right here that completely protects us. Yet one little bomb brat that spawned, that originated from sorrow and misery, and it was a harmless attack that we know can easily defeat now. Then after that, they send another positive reminder. And now, instead of viewing it as a reinforcement for a shield, we view it as a confirmation of the sorrow and the misery. So at this point, if any of you have even gotten this far, this is where all of you will get destroyed. Because now, there's nothing that you can do. Now you don't feel like doing anything. Now, you'll probably get consumed and do bad things. But most of you at this point, just give up. I'm saying for myself, I noticeably would feel worse. And here's another one for all of you too. If you ever get for advanced knowledge for all of you, because there's no way anyone's going to listen to this one if they don't have all the advanced knowledge. There was too many roadblocks I put in the way to prevent newbies from listening to this. They try giving you positive suggestions for your creations. For anything, actually, just so you guys know, they try to give you suggestions for the things that you're doing. Why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? So now, remember, you have sorrow and misery present. So now that's present and you hear that, you now know it's them. All because of one little bomb brat that made the positive then go towards sorrow and misery versus shield. And you see, now they don't even have to present more negative. Now they even just present a positive and say, hey, why don't you try creating something like this? It's not a bad idea. And you're like, that's actually not a bad idea. Like, you guys see, like, you can self-evaluate. You're not just getting baited to walk down a path without your own thinking. You still are able to choose and think. But you see, now they know this. So the suggestion appears and you're like, that's a pretty good idea. That's a pretty good idea. That's not a bad idea. So now, though, when that happens, because they reminded of us what our reality is, we're like, I'm not going to do what you guys want me to do. I get to choose if I continue my pilgrimage. I get to choose if I defeat sin today. I get to choose if I expose the Pope for creating a religion to intentionally give people hope, to build them up through a sports game called Blitzball, where people then believe again. So that they don't think about all the destruction and the misery around them. But really, there is no hope. Their actions are futile. They're meaningless. There is nothing they can do. They will experience unending sorrow, and we will consume their despair and laugh at their misery. Wait, probably should expose that, shouldn't we? All of a sudden we get a suggestion. Hey, maybe you should do a stream or a post or develop a video game that has a section or writes a story that exposes that knowledge, that explains it to people. But you're like, that's a really good... Wait, that was them. They suggested it to me. Why would they want that? They're intentionally causing... You see, now you get angry. Because now they made you doubt any positives. Because you're operating from... think of it like there's like a black hole of consumption, of sorrow and misery. And all that does, guys, is it creates doubt then. Because even if you don't temporarily feel that way, if they present any good, it now makes us doubt. It makes us doubt. It makes us doubt. It makes us doubt. And for good reason. Do you guys get it? Because they infiltrated past our shield through good. It's how they enslave us to keep going and doing something. But then they used it to create a clash, to develop the sorrow and misery, to make us feel like, why does it have to be this way? Why can't it be more? Why is this my reality? And then they're going to present suggestions of what we can do and what we can create. But you guys see, now you know, 9 out of 10 times it's probably them trying to get us to do something. And I don't want to write their stories. So now, you see, now you want to destroy evil. Now you don't trust good anymore. Now you don't believe in positives, unless they're self-sourced. But now you also are cautious because you're like, if I self-source my own, they're going to present more positives so they can create a clash. So all of a sudden now I'm like, what can you guys do? Do you guys get it? Like, this is why we all, if we ever break free and we heal and we understand everything, why all of us, if they can't get us to do again, because that will destroy us, they just find a way to make sure that we believe we can, even just for a few seconds, so then they can present the thing that clashes against that reality to make us feel like we can't. And then they send minor attacks so that we destroy them easily. And then now we doubt any positives. So sorrow and misery is going to prevail. Most of us will then completely give up and be consumed at this point. If we don't, then do you guys get it? You become who I became, which is, well, now you are like, well, can I operate without any positives at all? Because I'm saying the answer is you have to be able to ignore the ones that you don't source. They're just there. You're like, that's awesome, but when you see them, you're like, yep. But that's it. Do you guys get it? Like, you can't use them if they're not your own. Most will never be able to break free from sorrow and misery, because you have to get to the point where every single positive that presents through an external that is not a variable that we control means nothing. The only way to defeat sorrow and misery is any positive that presents externally that's not ours, that we self-source, that we created. We'll end with this. Think of it like this, guys. You can't learn something new or do something your way if disruption is present. The variable of others, other people, other things are a disruption. You just can't do your way if they're present, because you're always going to be disrupted and affected, even 1%. Which means that if you try, you're open to consumption, because, well, they can just prevent anything that you're trying, and then it's over. That's what I'm saying when we have to get to a point where any positive that presents that's not our own just means it's just there. You can't let them build up a positive world for us mentally. You just can't. You just can't trust it. Yet, do you guys see how difficult that becomes? Because most of us rely on that. We're like, oh my God, we're actually getting good presented to us. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Oh my God, yeah. You guys see, like, we just can't. You can't let them create the clash. Because if they do, you'll feel sorrow and misery. Can all of you operate without any external positives? Do you guys understand how challenging that is because of the excessive amount of bad that gets presented to all of us? The only way to do so is you have to have a fortified shield that you know how to create for yourself. And then when they're trying to reinforce your shield for you, yeah, this is a good example for just a little mental interruption for myself. Think of like you guys go to Mexico or like some kind of country that isn't as well off. So sometimes what ends up happening is that at the traffic lights, they try to clean your windshield. And I'm saying, guys, if you already cleaned your windshield, it might have a speck of dust here or there. You guys see, you don't need someone else to clean it because not only are you fine with it, but you're good. Do you guys get it? So if someone tries to then clean it or says that, hey, it needs cleaning, or maybe they say, hey, this is really clean, but I'm not even help you clean it more. You're like, why are you reinforcing my windshield? Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? You can't let that happen. That one's an easy example because for most people, you know that they want money. So it's easy for us to say no. But what if they actually didn't want money and they were just trying to help you? It's not easy. Because what I'm trying to get you guys to realize is that when it's something external or mental, if the people who, if anything that's presenting to you and it's not someone who's 100% free, I'm telling you guys, it's not meant for good. It's meant to create the clash to bring back your sorrow and misery. And all I have to do is remind you of your reality. So how can you defeat it, guys? Because for most of you, it's not feasible to operate without any positive externals. You just have to understand. And because I'm telling you guys, good is going to present sometimes to us without our choosing. And when that happens, you just have to be like, cool. But the moment you start seeing them a mental world developing, which is like, well, we can create a future, we can create an organization, we can do that. You're like, nope. Not because it's not maybe possible. It could be. Do you guys see? At no point am I saying that it's not possible. We have to operate like it's not. But I'm saying you can't let them create the mental world to make you believe that it is, and a mental world that lets you actually, or then so they present enough positives that make you do. You can't. It's just that simple. You have to be able to do regardless. If you only do on the days that they created the mental world for you, even without presenting the positive path to make you do, what ends up happening is that they're going to create a clash. You just know. Now I know. But do you guys see how sad that is? It means that any positive externals that get presented or that get suggested to us mentally that aren't our own, we now are doubtful of. Do you guys see how sad that is? That's the final problem. Because now we are just like, I know it's all of you. So that means that they just have to present any reminder, and they create anything that we know is not us. And they create the immediate, this is your reality, we're here with you, and we can put shit into your head. I'm telling you guys, today, I was just testing things, but I'm like, can I really just operate with sorrow? Can I operate with misery? Can I operate with despair? Can I operate with just completely just, not darkness, but just, do you guys get it? Like, no real positives, but then I'm like, oh, some positives start presenting, like, whoa, it's so easy to feel better. It's so easy once you understand this whole game of theirs. It's so easy. So what's the actual answer then? Now I know how they do it. which means I'm not going to fall for it anymore. Yet, it does take away some of the power of external positives. But at the same time, the most important thing is just not letting sorrow and misery get created. If that black hole gets created, then they have an in to destroy us by. Because otherwise, anything they present, guys, if you don't let sorrow and misery get created, it has to go through your shield. But if we let them create the sorrow and misery, then our shield isn't there to protect us, which means we have to respond to it. So as you guys can tell, really the answer is understanding. But is there an easy way? Not reliant on positive externals. And don't let them, once you learn the strategies, don't let them make you do them over and over again. The destroy evil shield. So I guess what I'm trying to say, because I'm telling you guys, they want me to destroy them because of what it does to me. They want me to heal, to give knowledge, to try to destroy them. And I'm saying, it just doesn't matter at all. I am at a point where I can continue my pilgrimage to heal the entire world, to heal my families, to defeat sin, to give freedom to the entire world. I can expose everything, but I don't have to. You guys see, like, there's nothing that makes me have to anymore, which means I can do whenever. I'm going to be curious to see if I can prevent sorrow and misery from spawning now that I am aware of this. Because I caught it a few times yesterday. I saw when they were starting to play. Because basically what I'm trying to get you guys to realize is that think of it like it's a strategy moving like in chess or something like that. A lot of the plays have been figured out. Do you guys get it? That means that once you see someone like, oh, they're positioned over there, that means they're going to do this. Think of it like that, guys. So like the moment like two things present, you're like, you guys are trying to do the sorrow and misery play. I don't think there's any other option other than that. You have to recognize when they're trying to do it and just not let it happen, because you know that means that in a few minutes or seconds or hours they're going to create the despair event, something that creates the clash, so that sorrow and misery can develop. Yet, does that mean that we can never believe anymore and create our own world like we used to? No. But it just means we have to be really careful, because they've caught on. They figured out how to counter it. And that's actually kind of terrifying. Because I'm telling you guys, there was no counter to it before. There was none. There's nothing they could do. I could create my own positive world and feel like I was in heaven. And there was nothing they could do. Sin was non-existent in my reality. There was no bad. And they figured out a way to make sin reappear. It's fascinating once you realize. I'm like, whoa, so that's how they did it. That's how they do it. They use the things around you guys is their favorite way. Something unsuspecting, something that can repeat things, something that can temporarily remind you of what your reality is. But for myself, since I learned all this knowledge, do you guys get it? I can now I now can tell when a mental reminder is them or myself. I'm at that point. You all will get there. And I'm saying that because, yes, they force insert things into our heads. Every time that they were force inserting their own stuff into my head, that was all they needed to do to create the clash. So literally, all of a sudden, when I'm doing one of my positives, I would be like, oh my God, 1 positive, 2 positives, 3 positives. Oh, and then that they insert, hey, this is how you should create, this is how you should do this, or this is your reality. And it happened so quickly every single time. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, why am I getting so many positives? And then, do you guys get it? Like, I would just see it. I'm just like, I'm like an observer in my own head, and I would see this happening, and I'm like, this is terrifying. So I guess really my answer is, there's a complete level of apathy now that I can't even explain to you guys. But it's not apathy of like hatred. It's not apathy of not wanting to do. It's not apathy of not wanting to learn more. It's not apathy of not wanting to heal. It's having them trapped in the corner, and we get to decide. I get to flip the switch whenever. Now that I understand how they were doing something, because just so you guys get it, like that's what I'm just saying. Like, I really don't think there's anything else. You just have to understand when it's happening. Because you can create your own world, but the moment you see that they're trying to create the clash event, to create despair or sorrow and misery, it's over. You have to immediately deviate. You can't let them happen. You just can't. You know what they're about to do. You know they're going to create a clash. I used to always think that it was they create belief of possibility through reminders of paths, right? Like, built over time. That's how I used to think they do it. They do. But I'm like, wow, they do it now through the most unsuspecting way, and I've explained it and repeated it enough. I'm telling you guys, I solve everything that I'm experiencing over and over again. And if something doesn't deviate or something doesn't change, I'm telling you guys, I don't make mistakes anymore. I just don't, because I learned something, because I understand actually the root, I understand the source, I understand the design. Once in a while, I might not execute the way all the strategies I know, because maybe I'm been learning new things, or let's say like if you're really tired or something like that. But you see, like, that means that you know why maybe you underperformed a little bit, but you still succeeded in vanquishing whatever foe. I'm like, I even make the moment, and then if there's anything that I'm doing that I am vanquishing and succeeding, because I already understand, I always make it more challenging, guys. You guys get it? I choose not to use the best things. I choose to try new approaches. I choose to try to make things more complicated. Because I'm like, well, I already know the answers. I'm like, there has to be new ways. There's maybe there are, but maybe there aren't. So for myself to then all of a sudden realize, we're gonna end here. This is the M&M Skittles example, where all of a sudden you're like, wait, why is there a black M&M when there was 99 white M&Ms? How did that get in here? I don't have the answer to how will I ever do again. Do you guys get it? Because I don't think there is one. They just have to change your reality. They should not be spending their time designing new problems to cause us. They should be spending their time figuring out, hey, now I don't believe any of your positives anymore. Which means there's nothing you'll never be able to get me to do again. Because anything you guys present now, I will never trust ever again. Ever. I hope the world is burning. I hope the world is being destroyed, because it's not my world. I hope all of you are suffering. I hope all of you are experiencing misery and sorrow and despair. Yet, I just gave you guys all the answers on how to solve it. Do you guys get it? There's nothing they can do, because I'm not going to do these things. I'm not going to give the answers. when they present things to me. I do it whenever. If they want access to my skill set, they need to change reality. But I don't need them to, because now there's a lot of things that I can do that I don't need their suggestions at all. I don't need their advice. I don't need anything from them. But what I have learned is when they do suggest, when they do present anything, I cannot react, because I'm telling you guys, they got it to a point where I was starting to get mad every single not mad, but just like slight annoyance, because I'm like, you guys are trying to start the sorrow and misery despair play again. You see, like, that's a problem, guys, because once you start recognizing it, because that means you know that bad is on the way. So now when that happens, I'm just like, thank you. Ideally, I don't even want to react at all. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to do anything. I just want to completely change my path. Just like listen to like random music, just explore like random things. Yeah, and that's it. And they're like, wait, what? How did he completely change paths like that? And I'm like, you guys have to be able to do that. You can still do all your positives, but you can't let them suggest things to you, because you know they're going to build up something for bad. It's just that simple. They use positives to enslave us, to create the clash, to create sorrow and misery. We don't experience any if we're never reminded of our positives. Think about that one, guys. This one was a little different. I needed to figure it out for myself. I was trying to piece together. I felt like I'd solved it, but I couldn't. I was missing one thing. Now I see exactly how they do it. It's because they create something that gets behind our shield. I didn't understand that was the problem. I couldn't piece together what they were doing. How are they doing? But I knew it was spawning from the positives. Yet again, I'm showing to them what they're losing out on. They get to choose now. And now it means, again, that there's zero trust. But yet, I'm not going to get angry or feel the need to destroy evil when they make a suggestion, because that was the problem. Because now that there was zero trust, I'm like, don't even dare suggest anything. You see, like, there's a risk there, because it was spawning from the sorrow and misery. Now, there's no more sorrow and misery. Now, there's no more despair. There's definitely no fear. There's a really reinforced shield. We've let our shield get weakened because we were trying to operate without positives. Just so you guys understand, it's possible. It's not only possible, it's doable. And it protects you from their play, but there's no reason to operate without positives. Not entirely. It's not. I'm gonna have some fun the rest of today. You already were. But I'm telling you guys, sorrow and misery is not created from the bad. It's created from the good. Reminders. If we weren't reminded of anything good, we would not have sorrow and misery. So you guys know that.